I'm starting. So I was trying to record something, and I had my colleague here, Dr. Idowu-Adegoke, right? And yeah, we were just gonna talk about something that we were so particular about today, and he's keeping it out. He's checking it out. Anyway, 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 anyway. Welcome to the episode. So, yesterday I got some good news. Okay, I had a mate. We were in med school together. We entered in late 2010, and I heard he just graduated med school. We are currently at the last day in January 2025. This is insane. I knew he was having some issues in school, but I didn't know, like, I lost contact with him. But yesterday, one of his friends posted that he finally graduated, and he graduated medicine and surgery. And I was like, oh my God, he is a fighter. He is a fighter, and I was absolutely so happy for him. And this kind of inspired me recording this, because we just thought of all the travails in med school. Like, med school is insane. It's traumatic. It could, suck the soul out of you. Like, it's insane. I feel like med school, if anybody has gone through med school, they could go through, like, any other hardship in the world should come easy. Of course, it's not like that really. But, like, it's one of the hardest things anybody can go through. I'm not gonna lie about that. Now, this kind of inspired me and my colleagues talking about all the scenarios of people who went through crazy things in med school. And with me today is Dr. Idowu-Adegoke. He's shy. And I have Dr. Esebame, who's probably going to keep quiet throughout the whole thing because he doesn't really talk. I don't know why. I don't know what I got to do to make him talk. I don't know. Dr. Idowu-Adegoke, do you have something to say?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever. It's nice to be here. Thank you so much for the
Who am I?
Yeah, so it was just a random conversation, I think, a couple of minutes ago. And the crazy thing is that we can all relate. If you have been to medical school, you can relate to this. And I just wanted to chip in my own opinion about. I finished from Luz, College of Medicine, University of Lagos, some years ago. So then, every set always had this, students that have been in the system for a long time and struggling, it's crazy. And yeah, it's just, I think you need to study how resilient these guys are, like how you just keep going and going and going. I mean, I had receipts my first year and I was already thinking of quitting. Just one receipt. And these guys probably have repeated like 3-4 times and they are still going. However, the twist to this is that where I graduated Luz, before they eventually release them, because it's more like they release them, many of them will have started even doing surgeries, without certificate and stuff.
Oh, no. Crazy stuff.
And that's because Lagos is, as you know, is a commercial. Lagos. So they are in it. They know that, okay, I must just get satisfied for this thing. I'm already doing this thing already. So, but I sincerely don't know of other schools. I would like to know how it is in other schools. Yeah, so that's one of
this crazy stuff. Now, there's this thing with some of these students, having to go through repeats, receipts, and all those things is quite a traumatic event. Seeing your other classmates moving on and you're stuck in limbo, not sure where you're going to. There are so many faces to it. Are you going to write this receipt? After this receipt, are you going to make it through the end, or are you going to have to repeat the whole class? How is it going to be having to be with your juniors in the class? How's it going to be looking at your friends that you've made, and then moving forward? How's that going to affect the relationship you've built over the years? All this can actually lead to some form of mental illnesses. And then there are some people who are prone to like schizophrenia, bipolar, and all these things. And the stress of med school can tip them into crisis and psychosis and mania. And it's insane. And these people still, they still end up graduating from med school, even through all the ups and downs, having to be admitted and treated for their medical condition. They still, at the end of the whole struggle, they still make it through med school. They are superheroes, I must say, and they are so resilient. I believe nearly all medical students are really, they have like tough skin. Like medical students have tough skins. I don't know how we survived that whole situation.
If I may just add to that.
Yeah.
It's funny how, because I was a serial receipt candidate, I never repeated, but the difference between somebody that has one receipt throughout medical school and someone that has two or three is so much, like, in that regard. So I can imagine the difference between someone that repeated once and somebody that repeats, like, maybe this is your third time
Crazy.
of repeating. There are two different things, and the mental mind, mental health of
Mindset.
youth
I don't know the mindset they are in at that point.
because when I remember when we were in school, then if a senior or somebody that we thought had moved on, we just suddenly see him in our class. Initially, it would be like, okay, then some people start pitying him. If it's his first time here, it's like a crime. You can forgive him. But there are some people that we already know.
He's probably gonna join us. God have mercy.
So,
and they are struggling too.
And they are struggling too. And the sympathy is not so much for them, because when you've repeated like twice already, people now say, oh, he must be a bad student, or he's not getting something right. Then if you repeat 3 times, so that's why this conversation is great. Like, for someone to have been in school for 10 years, it's supposed to be 6 years in most schools without strike. That means you must have repeated at least 3 times or 4 times. That's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So the other aspect of it that I want to touch on is that I share the sentiment that sometimes people that have disappointment in school turn out better somehow after graduation, post induction. Yeah, if they eventually make it, they have a story to tell. From my own experience in school, then most of our best consultants, most of our best registrars and all, the people that either they had a lot of receipts or repeated once or twice, people that at some point, so they have this motivation.
You think maybe they're able to empathize more?
Yeah, they also make they also make better role models. They are the ones that want to talk to you as a student. They want to go the extra mile, fix stuff.
Because they know what they went through.
Yeah, they are the ones that will quickly sign your logbook. so that side of it too. And yeah, I can understand, but it's crazy. It's crazy because sometimes there's that part of, okay, because you repeated, you now have motivation, extra motivation. But what if post-induction, post-medical school, you don't still make it the way your career didn't go as planned? Then all that emotions probably start coming back of doubting yourself, like
all over again. When you struggle through med school and you're struggling after med school.
And I don't know if there's a way we can interview people that really went through it. I'm not like some people really had it. Like I know some seniors that, but it's all cool. I think after medical school, it doesn't really matter. The moment you become a doctor,
everybody has the same kind of certificate.
Yeah, it's not like,
unless there's distinctions.
Yeah, it's not like what kind of doctor do you want to become. And the upside to it is that most of them become matured by the time they come out. Like for instance, I had a senior that I met in private practice, and he just came. I had been working like 3 or 4 years. He just came out like last year, as at that time. But if you saw both of us talking to patients, it was different. He had this mature, he had this maturity, and patients were believing him even more than me. And he could negotiate better for himself in the hospital. Like it wasn't more like post-NYS. No, it was more about him negotiating as a man. You know, if you're not even careful, you think he's a consultant. So he had his own car. So he was married. So it didn't really matter if he just finished last year or not. So I realized so suddenly that medical school is a bit different from
practice.
practice.
Yes, I mean, I absolutely believe, because by the time I was graduating, I was like, can I even take care of patients? Like, all my thoughts was all of the stress with medical school.
Yeah.
But as an intern, despite the stress of internship, it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was fulfilling, and I was learning on the job and everything, and it wasn't as scary as med school was.
Of course.
It wasn't as scary as med school was. And one of the things I said then was, what will patients say? Well, patients didn't say anything. They were happy that I was rendering my service. Absolutely.
Patients don't even know whether you had 5 repeats in school. They don't care.
As long as they are getting better.
As long as they're getting better and you can actually communicate. One thing I realized that most parts of medicine is more of an art than science. Like, since I became a doctor, I don't think I've used 50% of the knowledge imparted in all the stuff, you know. I don't think I needed too much stuff to function and practice as a doctor, and you learn on the job as you go, and that's it. So, well, congrats to those that finally made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then how about those that didn't make it? Like, I feel med school is really, I feel the mental health of medical students aren't really being well catered for or well taken care of. And then the other thing is those that end up dropping out. Like, I don't think I've heard of people dropping out at Part 5. But you mentioned that you knew someone that dropped out at Part 5. That is insane. I'm sure they've spent so many years in school, and their parents are probably thinking they're about to graduate, and then they're just dropped out like that. But my thought is, somebody should take care of their mental health and ensure that they have a structure where somebody guides them on what's next to do.
Yeah.
What's next to do. So, like, 5 years, that I'm sure it's not just 5 years, probably nearly 10 years of their life before they finally got dropped out. Yeah, so like, there should be like a way to capture them so they're not just dropping and then they're starting from 200 level elsewhere or something weird like that.
Yeah, and well, in my own school, 500 level is not sure that somebody will drop out because you've done your first clinical year in 400 level. So, but what I would say is that these people, in fact, if you look at it, especially in a city like Lagos, is peculiar. Lagos is peculiar because of the fast life, of the hunger, make money, get rich, and all this. If you spend some years in medical school, what happens is that some people, even before they came to medical school, were already called doctors from where their community. So they already used to, 3 years of that life of doctor, I'm going to school, then suddenly they are not there anymore, and some of them become quacks, funnily enough, in Lagos now, because they feel they've learned some, and they just go somewhere. And Lagos is a place where you can just parade yourself as whatever without license. At some point, then when you learn on the job, you know how to cite a line,
and then you just keep posing.
Yeah, because you probably, as a medical student, 300 level, you probably know people that did not even go to any school and are maybe auxiliaries, doing stuff already. People doing surgeries in Lagos, nurses doing, and you are a
Lagos is something.
And you're a medical school student. You've
worked with the consultant.
Yeah, you've seen everything
happening.
So you just like,
I know.
okay, no problem. I won't be a doctor, but I will be a doctor.
If the school says I'm not fit, I will do whatever I like.
Exactly. But sometimes a lot of them turn to drug addicts. In my school, there's that side of it too. Once you repeat 300 level or 200, usually 300 level, they weed you out. A lot of them will have this upper chamber or roof where they go and you just start seeing them lighting and they form. There's this withdrawal from your normal set. Like
your friends
will be like,
your
nah,
social
we're not the same again.
Your social circle, even if you wanted to blend with them, there will be this.
Yeah,
there'll be something
because they are discussing in course.
So what are you going to be discussing?
So you can't just keep up. So natural human stuff gets you. You withdraw yourself, isolate yourself, and you look for company. Misery loves company, so you will look for your likes. So people from
miserable people.
people from different, in quotes, smaller departments. So that's what the school will offer you. They might weed you out or might get a chance to enter maybe some other. I don't want to mention.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. If their mental health should if there should be a structure in leading, I don't believe it's terrible. In like reintegrate them into society, because that's what's gonna happen. Because you're trying to reintegrate them into a society that they didn't think they were going to end up joining. So the thing now is like, let's say there was a guidance through this whole process. What would you like to do apart from? Do you have what are your thoughts? I know of someone that was studying medicine and was repeating for a while. And when he withdrew, he is like into tech as a medical student. This guy, as I think he's about graduating or has graduated from computer science, because that's what he went to do. Like, he ended up leaving the whole medicine shit. I went to study this. And I've also heard the story of a guy. He was in 600 level. He has repeated every single time. Was frustrated with medicine, absolutely. And the school was ready to let him go or whatever, as in let him pass eventually. But he said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm absolutely not doing this anymore. It's my daddy's dream to be a doctor. I can't deal with this anymore. He probably spent like 12 years in med school. And he said he wasn't going to write no exam. And my own mind, I'm sure some people will know who this guy is. He graduated, I think, with first class in mass communication elsewhere, eventually. But that's insane. He spent so many years and it was not mental. It wasn't mental. And Dr. Esebame is still not saying anything. Oh yeah, say something.
So I think that's something that schools since need to properly counsel students before they choose courses. Yeah, I think it's very important because people get into medical school for different reasons. Just like you mentioned, the example that you just cited now of the person who got into medical school because of his parents. Because at some point you need something strong enough to keep you going. That's the truth. You need to be sure that this is what I actually want to do. For me personally, there was a time in medical school I actually sat down and decided, okay, is this what I want for my life? And at that point, I just decided, okay, I'm just going to continue on this path. I know I'm going to practice medicine. And I think, I don't know, you mentioned something earlier about, when you sitting with the so you decide to consider this. Yeah. So I remember the first time I got a 50 ever in my life. The first time I got a 50 ever in my life was medical school. And I told my dad that medical school wasn't for me. I called my mom. I told her I'd never gotten a score that low in my life. And I don't think medical school is for me. I think I should.
You don't know anything.
I think I should go somewhere else. Yeah.
I actually got Yabatek form for Chris Bats.
Because of
I had my first receipt.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can totally relate with what you say. But it's just, especially I would say it became so more in this age generation because there's a lot of options. the world around you is presenting you with options every other day. Like, so if from the point where you feel, where you aspire, let's even say aspire to be a doctor, to the time you are filling that jam form, a lot has changed, which you may not even know about, depending on the people advising you. Then when you get into medical school, to the point where you write your first MD and all, a lot has changed already. And with the way the world is going now, of course, we know AI and everything. So it's even more important right now for people that want to go in to really sit down and say, come, wait, let's look at these options. What are your strengths? What do you want to see? You understand? And because medicine is not even a course where you have to go and experiment. It's that medical school, a lot of us got into it and we are like, I have to finish this thing. You know, it's not something you can just do, taste and come out. So
Like, let me check what they're doing over there.
yeah, so and I even know a lot of doctors right now that in fact, only reason why they are still doing it is because they graduated. Like if they didn't graduate,
They have done something else.
they're like, I haven't spent a lot of years. What else do I know how to do? I've spent the
all my youth,
juicy years of my life been learning every theory. Then where will I turn to? And job security and all sorts. So I think it's going to be like what you said right now. Counseling should be a major thing because I cannot say my dad forced me to do medicine. I wanted to do medicine, but did I have enough on the table at that time? No.
What do you mean by do I have enough on the table? What are the things on the table that are meant to be on the table?
Okay, for one, I would say my mom was a bit passive in my career. At least the basic is you have a family, your parents. My dad was the only force.
That was interesting.
Deciding stuff. So my mom was not really anything like, and I was passing now. I was getting A's and everything. So
she believed you had one.
Yeah, at that time, the belief was any child that is brilliant, brilliant enough, should either do medicine, elect, or law, or something like that. You know. So I mean, if you're brilliant enough, it's like a buffet party for you. Like, what do you want? Choose that kind of thing. So there was no limit to what you could choose. So you just choose the best anyway. That was what it was for me. So it was not like my dad forced me pass it, but why not? I mean, I'm passing.
So why not medicine?
Why not medicine? And
so I think what I've noticed in all this is there's a need for even more counseling around when someone was right jam. Like I had some counseling, not gonna lie. Before I wrote jam, or sometimes around me trying to get admission, I came across this 500 level medical student, and she told me something. She was like, if you're going to come to med school, if what you want is money, don't come to med school.
Oh, wow.
Go study economics, marketing, anything else, but don't come to med school. It's gonna be challenging. She absolutely told me. And I remember listening to her and I was like, med school is gonna be challenging. Fine. I'm gonna come and face the challenge. I had no idea that the challenge was gonna break me. It broke me. My self-confidence, self-esteem, it destroyed it. I was someone who, go-getter. I have plans. But with med school, there's no plans.
Yeah.
It's whatever med school wants you to see that you feel.
Yeah.
Like, I felt that way. It's not the same for everyone, basically. And ever since that, like, it's quite a lot of trauma, right? Out there in your school, you be like top student or whatever. Not me, but a lot of people that came into school with me, 100 level. Damn, 5-pointer, 100 level. Everybody is always 5-pointing, 4.9, all kind of weird stuff. But go to 200 level when the real medical school starts.
Of course.
The horror. That is when the real horror starts. For most people. And it's crazy. Now, the other thing I'm thinking, for solution now, let's say we're looking for a solution.
Yeah.
I talked about guidance and counseling from the jam, right? In fact, after 100 level and nearly 200 level as they're entering and after, whatever happens, I feel there should be like some counseling sessions, right? So how has your year been?
Yeah.
What are your fears? What do you think you want to do going forward? Do you think you want to change direction? And there should be a way, a structure in which if somebody wants to move elsewhere early on, it should be supported. It should be supported.
think in my school we had a very similar structure, but I don't know if it was. I don't know when they started maybe, but then I think it was close to the end of my medical school. Yeah, they had that structure where um, no, they had, yes, where they had a counseling structure for people that were leaving medical school. Yes.
Those that
They were
graduated
already on
or
their way
those
out.
that
No, those that
going to
no, yeah, those that
going out to
were
go
withdrawn from
We call
medical
it peel
school.
out.
Yeah, and they always found a way of ensuring that their transition into other departments was smooth, actually, at any level. Yeah, of course, yeah, they have stuff on Sunderland. Yeah, they have stuff on Sunderland. I had this roommate at one time. I didn't know he had been withdrawn from medical school.
Yeah.
He told me he was a medical student and he was in his final year. And it was not until after about a month or so that he mentioned that he had been withdrawn from medical school, but because he was ashamed, yeah, and because he already had that identity of being a medical person, yes. So it took a lot for him to like open up, and then he was talking about how that he's transitioning into another department, into I think economics at the time. I don't know if it's done yet, but his transition into economics was smooth. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, on this one, I have a little bit of a divergent idea, but not really divergent. I think if we wait for them to present to medical school before we start this process, I think it's too late, and this is why. Like I said initially, I feel if my mom had, I don't blame her because she didn't know any better. If she had some counseling herself as a parent as to, because whether you like or not, you can only know yourself so much to the extent that from maybe the age of 7 thereabout or 8 when you start knowing yourself magical years. But your parents have been there all your life. They saw you, and the way they run their educational system abroad, the place they spend a lot of time looking at the child. What they expose the child early enough to different things. Then looking at those strengths, weaknesses, not just about school breed academic brilliance, but exposure, arts, science, everything. So they can quickly try. Don't let me say try. Sort out. Yeah, who's gonna be this? Who's gonna be that? Who's going to go to trade school, college, and that's it, and become the next Michael Jackson or something. But so I feel we should incorporate, because the way the world is going is too fast nowadays. That if you wait till the child is feeling jam form before the counselor shows up, that hey, what do you want to do? I think because I decided to become a doctor at the age of 10, around the age of 10, I was already sure that I wanted to become a doctor, and from that moment I threw out every other thing. So option. So that I feel parents first of all should first be, there should be counseling for parents or would be parents, that this child, this what the child chooses to do in today's world can do a lot to their destiny, can bring a lot of happiness, can affect their mental health if they're not happy on the job. Are you just looking for the next get rich quick stuff through your child? Because that's what a lot of parents do. They just look at it, coding, tech, lots. So
that's what we do now.
That's what we do now. The first one will be a tech. The second one will be a footballer. And before those children become adults,
they start thinking in that direction.
And the way the world changes. Those things will have faded out. It's be another new thing. So the child is now stuck. Now all his life he's thought, I'll be a tech, I'll be a footballer. But all of a sudden, football is not. There's a new gig on the horizon. On the horizon. So we didn't now start changing. So we need to tailor it to every sector is lucrative. That's what we are realizing now. Even if you're a farmer, you will make millions, like millions. So it's not about really what you do. A good example is that time when we were in school, they just introduced one course called MLS, Medical Lab Science, as we know it now. Then in school, medical school, they were like the MLS. Where you say, "What are you studying?" MLS. You look them, and everything was they were inferior to the medical student, dental student, pharmacist, and all. They were
At that point,
they were very. Well, it didn't take me too long after graduation to realize that
it's very
maybe I should have just done MLS.
happy money now.
And by now, so there's actually, and to be honest, there's nothing wrong with MLS, studying MLS. In fact, right now they are our colleagues. They have their own. You cannot even get set up a lab without certificate of somebody study MLS now. So their salary is a bit high too, comparable to you pharmacists, and also they have the same JAPA or pathway and everything. So I feel there should be counseling for parents. Counseling for parents more important because they are the ones that put these ideas in children from.
I think like one of the other issue is when you mention exposure. The thing is, a lot of people would come across a doctor. Sorry, a lot of people will come across a doctor at least once in their lifetime, and depending on their interaction with a doctor or a nurse or an engineer, they would form like they look at them like their idol, role model. I think I want to be like this. The thing is, there's not enough exposure about other occupations. Like, what does an underwater welder do?
Yeah.
Undersea, or they call them something. I'm sure they're being paid crazy amount of money. If I had met an amazing person in tech before I entered med school, I could have been swayed to study like computer science. Absolutely, I could have been swayed if I had met someone who was I loved computers. I've been with computers since I was a child, and at that point in time, I felt like I knew everything about computers for some reason, and I thought computers was. I didn't know there was more to what I was saying, right? So when I see people study computer science, in my mind, I'm like, are they doing Microsoft Excel and like what else are they doing over there? I had no idea because I never met someone who did it, right? But like now that I know now, amazing things are going on in that space, right? So it depends on the exposure. And I feel like, I don't know if it's the guardian counseling that's not doing enough, but like sometimes when I watch all these foreign movies, you see something they call it like something kind of opening day or something. They bring parents or other occupations and then they do it, but it's always the same set of stuff. Is the doctor, nurse, lawyer. I don't even think they put police in the occupation that they in those kinds. Some people will fall in love with being a firefighter from when they are little because they came across an amazing firefighter when something was happening and saving people, right? We don't have those kind of exposure. I don't think anybody wants to be a firefighter unless they don't have they look for job and no job. Do you understand? Like, and then there are some job descriptions, some occupations that are amazing that people just don't know about. I don't know. That's perfect.
Yeah, I think it's also. It looks like I have a lot to say about this.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's also about the society we find ourselves, the country we find ourselves. You cannot really aspire to be so much in our environment because there's not enough already. Even the courses that we go to school to study, curriculum, you see a lot of when you get jam form and everything, you see that broker and they will give you so many. The truth is that there's no job for those people. Yeah, so my sister studied social work. There's no job for.
Yeah, like I remember there was a department in our school, criminology at that time. And I used to wonder if you study criminology, where did they go?
Where you go,
Maybe you'll be police officer and DSS, I suppose.
If you see get leg, it's not something you find. So it's crazy. Even what are we even talking about? We the medical people, we think our job is guaranteed, but I know some doctors, people are earning peanuts, right? That's another reason why people leave medicine. It's not even just passion again and everything. So when you start earning peanuts, I know a nurse that owns a supermarket. She's not practicing. He pays her. She's earning 500,000, 1 million per month, and blah. It's It's the what do we call it? Since last time we left medical school, the world has become a global village more, whereby now you can become anything on YouTube and you get job also on social media. You learn social media, you get a job on social media. So even your parents don't even have to know what they don't even have a say about what you want to do. No, daddy, this money, this dollar. Yeah. So people are now welcome. Oh, okay, this thing brings money. Okay, fine. Okay. So it's not like before. Like when I was growing up, I'm a talented. I would say I'm talented in art, as you know. When I was growing up, not like I didn't know any artists, but they were not rich. They were these roadside people, and they were not rich, so they could not have even influenced me in no way. I didn't know any artist
that was doing well, right?
Yeah, just like there were no dancers back then. You see that?
Taffy was not yet.
Yeah. So if you say you want to be a dancer, then your parents will be like, "Are you mad?
Out of your mind."
So it's as the world we are in is changing too, and people are getting more tolerant. Who would have thought that some people can make a career out of makeup, and they're earning millions, lashes, fixing lashes now. Somebody that studied 4-year course in university is fixing lashes.
No, one of my roommates is into it.
Yeah.
Like she's a doctor, she's practicing and she's still into it.
Yeah, and I feel like I said, the parents, for me, I feel parents should, because I got to this point, I wouldn't even have known about being a medical doctor if not for my dad. He also wanted to be a medical doctor, and it was one that made that reality like, okay, this is possible. And yeah, so it's about the exposure sometimes of the parents, exposure of the people around. Everybody needs to know that I have a responsibility on that child around me, to really shaping their mind about what is possible, and don't like say this is what you must do, or because you are good at maths means you must be a this. No, what do you want? The person can have other attributes in arts, for instance, in communication. So born with it is not something. So you can just quickly direct that person to that line. So I really think, yeah, this talk has been very.
So it's been amazing throughout this whole session. One of the things with med school that I also was thinking about is, have you ever thought of, in US, medicine is like a second kind of degree. You had to have like a college BSc. Then I was thinking of, and I think some people have proposed this before, where after your third or fourth year, you actually have a certificate. Do you get like some kind of BSc, and then the whole master's is like an advanced professional. The rest of clinicals is an advanced professional course. Do you know? So it's like when whatever is going to happen after the third or fourth year, you understand? Yeah. I think that is something that should be looked into. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe they're going to have a BSc in maybe by chemistry or something. Maybe there's something you have to write specially to make you in some schools.
Yeah, in they do it for our special candidates. So okay. Yeah, so if you had which one level how it works is if you had decision in any of those three courses, anatomy, biochemistry, so they will call you, eventually will call you and present an offer to you that would you like to. So what you would do is just sacrifice 1 year. You spend 1 more year in school, but you get a BSc in that thing you called a decision in is biochem. So you get a BSc in it. But when you're coming out a year after, you're getting double. So yeah, MBBS, BSc, and from there, in fact, there's one of our seniors there. He had like 8 distinctions, and he's in US now, and he got I think PhD from there. There's a way they did it. He even got a master's because they wrote stuff for him, letters and
crazy stuff.
Yes, he just went straight to PhD in the US. So because he was the decision candidate too in MBBS, and he also, lecturers wrote, and that was part of the deal. They gave him recommendations easily. traveled to the US, and since then it's been the academic.
That's lovely. That's interesting.
So they offer you that if you're a senior candidate because they believe you can cope. And they offer you that.
I think some schools do it routinely.
What?
Some schools do it routinely.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So how is it like after their third or sixth? What kind of BSc? Like I'm interested in knowing BSc what? Like
Yeah.
my thoughts.
I think it should still be in one of those courses. Those biomedical, yes. But not.
It's
Okay, of course. Okay, so they have to get to
That's why
the
they're
end.
banking on you because they know that they know that you prefer price. So they that down going that. This one is
It's gonna.
let's be. In fact, I think there was this that guy that took the machine and asked about them. And all of them were
Like, come to us.
come to us. Anatomy was saying, teaching their own about them. So that's
Okay. That's lovely. Anyway, this has been the travails of med school. And do you have,
I'm
of
sure
course,
we'll have a part two of them.
okay, you still have things to say? You still have things to say?
Yeah, not I would say there are a lot of layers. And for instance, what I just said now, then how we saw the other side of the talk about the kids. The other side of the spectrum is the exceptionally good students who are distinctions and all. And what I realized was as we went by in the medical school, different that was kind of closing in terms of social skills, because when you get from basic medical, you get programs and
It's more social.
more arts skills and all. I saw that some of them did have it, and some of us that had the communication skill and all those things decided kind of say, oh, okay. So
I still have some hands and upper hand in some places.
It helped us in our own esteem and because
Confidence.
in medical school, by 200 level, 300 level, we already know who is who in class. We divided ourselves top half and
Come on, man.
No.
It's not like that, Gary.
It was like that in my school. So, in fact, we were back benchers. We knew ourselves. Like, in fact, and that was another thing. I realized quickly when I had my first visit, I needed to change my book. Because
Immediately.
The people you mingle with affect your grades. Whether you're brilliant or not, if you mingle with the wrong set, there's no way. You see that your results are similar.
Everybody in your circle revolving around the same.
So that was what I learned. Okay, I was also doing out with this boys. And on the flip side, the extreme of that is that some of them you don't even practice after we finish. I know somebody that I very so much I respect as myself. She didn't practice clinical medicine. And she knew when she did that I'm not going to do
clinical medicine is not for me.
She did something else, environmental, all this, they use railway, all this recycle, and she's in the US doing fantastic, very, quite rewarding financially too. And it's just explained. And I was like, why were you not that girl?
It's so she can place, it is how will I say it? She has a track record.
Yeah, but the way it was then was you have this chance to go and become consultant. So, but it wasn't like that.
And then there's this thing about people's why, people's purpose, and I think it's something that students should be taken through, so they can come to a clarity in what is next for them. Is it in line with their purpose? Is this my why? Why am I doing this? If they know what it is that they're doing, it will help them in making the next set of decisions in their lives.
And it's the students that must find that means because the way it is, nobody is dead. There's no time. The medical school is who are the decision candidates? I want to work with them. Who are the rubbish? I don't want to.
No, come on, no. People. No. They're not rubbish. We're not rubbish. No.
At some point, I like this person. I like this person. Even after medical school, you see, working with consultants, they don't have any obligation really to put you under their wings. You are the one that will say, "Okay, I like these guys. Well, I think I want to." And those ones that did that early, they got the reward. And some of us that did not do it, we found out later and that if you like somebody in the medical field, if you like reach out to them, that's what they share, that Hippocratic oath. You're not a doctor, they will see you. They always like to mentor people. But if you don't come around, and that's one thing medical students will come around. Only by coming around you have passed exams. You know, they have that saying out there. Do you know me? If a lecturer is asking that question, you're long thing or something like, do you know me? What do I teach?
Which lecture did I come to teach?
Yeah, you are feeling. And when another student comes, good morning, sir. How are you? You have prepared you're not looking later. They know you. That person has already passed. Already. So whatever you see, they know that okay, you just forgot. It was my class. So coming around and having that conscious effort to say, I want this person to be for me. Even if it's going to be showmanship, I think it helps set you apart. I remember that was just the reason why some people got asthmatic sports myself, and some of us didn't get because now you finish, you want them to do a favor. They don't know you. Like, who are you, guy? Are you in my class? Yes, sir, I'm with you. The other guy, they has found a way to relate to them before that time.
Created a rapport.
Yeah, so they are not even thinking twice. Oh, okay. So and these are mistakes and lessons I learned. And if I was going to go to medical school again, I wouldn't make those mistakes. It's more of politics, communication, how you carry yourself than actually focusing too much on the stuff. And that was from my own.
That's in terms of passing exams.
In terms of doing well in medical field, yes.
Even after,
because the moment when I had to sit when I was doing just 3 courses. Oh, 300 level, I was doing about 7 courses, top courses where they used to meet students easily. I never had one receipt. In fact, I was going for a distinction. What changed? The same me. But I now realized that there were some people I cannot be keeping management with this person. This person can help me. I had the short girls, I had the very brilliant guy, Ficos, and I'll just go meet them, wrap up with them, and that was how I was moving along with you. Don't be left behind. I was moving along with them. Yeah, I was moving along with them till, and that's how it is in medical school. So, even after medical school, we're in the information world age now, whereby just somebody getting the right information can set the person apart. The person can be in Canada next year because of the right information, and you will still be in Nigeria trying and spending money. And who are the people that will give you this information? People that are around, people that so it's social skill is underrated. A lot of people that had social skills then clubbing and everything, they are in better places
right now
because they own their social skills. So I would say if I was to go to medical school again, I would be more social.
I think that's one of the things I regretted about my school, not going out enough, because it wasn't going to kill the school. The whole thing, you're going to still read your books, but there were sometimes you just like, no, I'm just going to stay indoors so that I can read extra line of I don't know what.
We had the wrong impression of medical school.
Medical students are always studious.
Go to the club, enjoy yourself. Yeah, I'm saying that to a younger me now. Go to the club, enjoy yourself, form the right relationship. Sometimes you even meet your lecturer in the club. Yeah, you meet people and they form a different relationship between the entire
outside.
And that's how you pass your exams. No, it's true. It's true. And that was how I started passing later years because I remember one very, very malignant consultant there. We are free of him and I will just come late to his old ground and just look at me. This guy, he will send me out like 10 times. I will keep coming back. He will send me out. This guy is a nuisance. And
that's how your friendship began.
Yes, he liked me because he saw that I was not the regular.
That would disappear after he had been sent
or that I had ego at that point, or that I thought he was brilliant. I don't know anything, please help me. And they like that. So he go like, so he because I was an artist, he started taunting me. When did you draw me? And I was like, fast. I was like, oh yeah, that was
How
how
did you know that that's how you
you know,
passed?
that's how he take me stuff. When he's taking me stuff, he call me side, call that boy. Call that's one serious boy. I'm forgiving you, but if you still buy me something, then that's how I said, it's more of social skills. If you believe that, okay, these people like me, I'm not an outcast, then you feel, but the moment you start having maybe your first receipt, your first repeat, that's what we talk about. It starts relating you, making you isolated.
Yeah, the self-confidence,
Yeah.
self-esteem keeps
Yeah,
going
I don't
down.
think I belong there. And lecturer, you know, there was in 200, 300, when they want to make examples, they will not call a back bencher now. They will not even call us for example. They call people in front. And they know their names by that time. You, come. Surname. No, by 300 level, they already know your surname. Talk less of when you get to the clinical year. So, before we got to 400 level, some of us already had more confidence. Some of them, were carrying bags for lecturer, this stuff. While we at the back, we're having lower. They don't even know my name. They don't even care who I am. They don't know. But you made yourself like that.
Yeah, because you were withdrawing.
Yes.
You were withdrawing. Yeah.
They never knew anybody from the beginning.
Yeah.
Those people
who made themselves available got to be known.
Yeah. And that was, I learned it in the hard way. And I thank God I learned. And yeah. And so I would tell people, if you're medical school, before you get in, there are things you must do, questions you must ask. When you're in, it's not too difficult. In fact, it's easier now. It's AI and everything to get out. And it doesn't end at just becoming a consultant or medicine. Even if you do medicine, you can still go to other areas. There's art in medicine now. There's a lot of other disciplines in medicine. So there's even tech. You can be a data scientist in medicine. You can be a data analyst, healthcare analyst. So So I think I've said my piece on this.
Yeah, then there's one other thing I wanted to clarify before we end up this thing is though people say there are courses in the university that are absolutely useless, I want to say that having a degree, going into school, having a degree is not all a waste. It's absolutely not all a waste. No matter what it is that you study, whether it's sociology, criminology, social works, Nigeria actually needs you. Unfortunately, Nigeria does not know how to manage its human resources. Nigeria actually needs you. Nigeria just doesn't know how to manage its human resources. And that's why we on the outside are feeling like, so where are we going to put them in? If Nigeria works well according to how it should be working, we absolutely need social workers. We absolutely need even criminologists to be working with our police officers, DSS, all the paramilitaries that we have. However, Nigeria might have been, fall short in that regard, but doesn't mean what they learned is a waste. Other thing is, they also learn social skills in school and all those kind of things. Just going to school to study some random course is not always, because you meet people, you interact. There's so many things you still learn socially, mentally. The fact that you can write an exam and pass it is some amazing thing. Your brain is developing, all kind of things is working. It's just that after graduation, reality sets in, basically. And then that is where you might say, I don't think my results, my certificate is useful. But of course, Nigerian government and everybody else will tell you, go and get entrepreneurial skills. But it's not easy. You still need money to get entrepreneurial skills. But in all, some still become outliers.
Yeah.
And they can suddenly make use of what they're doing. And then there's social media now. Everybody's becoming an influencer and somehow money is falling from that side too.
Yeah.
I can tell them, if you study some random course, just tell people about the history of it. Just do some random contents about it. Put a spin on it.
Yeah.
And might be the next person everybody's looking for. Anyway, that's one thing I wanted to clarify. Like, not all. No course is used. Alright, so I think we're ending here now. Thank you, Dr. Esebame, for coming on the show. Thank you, Dr. Idowu-Adegoke. And now I'm Rukayyah Ibrahim, and now I'm signing out.